we have another guest joining us, Great Britain deaf footballer Jamie Clarke. How are you?
How are you? How are you? Yeah, lovely to see you. Thank you.
So you've played in the FA Disability Cup and you've been a presenter on the FA Disability Cup. Have you met before?
Yeah, I think we've met twice.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah, and it's great to have a presenter like you on working with us. You know, you're top quality on mainstream TV. It's really, really brilliant.
It's such a great event. It's always one of my favourite weekends of the year.
So Jamie, Deaflympics are coming up Tokyo in November. And have you played in the Deaflympics before? How many times have you been?
Yeah, so I think altogether Japan will be my third time. I did it back in 2009 in Taiwan and then 2017 in Samsun in Turkey. And that was brilliant.
I was actually sat next to you on the plane to Taiwan. Yeah, we were sat.
For you, Jamie.
Because of our
Dealing
names.
with all that chat.
Yeah, he talks loads. I do
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, a bit of a show off at that time, I think.
Jamie, we spoke about the FA Disability Cup, which is such a huge event. I love it so much. But how big an event is the Deaflympics?
Well, Deaflympics is massive because, you know, it's a worldwide competition, right? So we have deaf athletes from all over the world against each other. So it's 70 to 80 countries around the world and 3,000 athletes. So it is really massive. And then also it's the 100th year anniversary this year. And this makes it older than the Paralympics. And obviously it's every 4 years, so that's very rare. And so it's a really special feeling to get us all together in one place.
Also, as part of the deaf community, it's a social gathering. It's not just for sports, it's the social element too.
Yeah, yeah.
How are things in terms of your preparations, like the team selection, fitness, training? How's all that going?
Yeah, I mean, we're very lucky because we started a bit earlier this time. So we've had kind of 1 year. Preparation's going really well. We've got the last few players in, and they're looking really good. We've got a bigger number and we're kind of whittling that down now. So we've got the quality there for sure. We just need to carry on, make sure that the quality improves with every camp. And then hopefully we'll be ready for Japan.
And how are you going with your fundraising? I know you don't get any funding from the government, so how's it to date?
Yeah, so this is very frustrating for us, of course, because we, as the players, we are athletes. You know, we have a dream to represent Great Britain. We shouldn't have to be focusing on funding and on that situation. And so it's very, very difficult for us. And what we need is £64,000 by the end of March. And that's for accommodation alone in Japan. Altogether, what we need is 300,000 for the women and men's teams. And that's a lot of money. And so we're looking for that at the moment. Also, we know that with the Olympics and the Paralympics, they get 600 million every 4 years. And that's a lot of money. And we get nothing. And so that just feels like it's not fair. And so we really need help with that at the moment. And we're hoping to get that funding.
Jamie, what happens if you don't get the funding?
I mean, if we don't get the funding, it means we can't go. You know, it's very, very sad. And I can't imagine that's the situation. The idea of not being able to go and represent Great Britain, it's such a huge honour. And if we can't go, you know, that would just be awful. So I'm really hoping that we will get that funding.
How could people, companies and the like support you?
Okay, so at the moment, we're looking for potential sponsors. Hopefully we'll get one of the big ones. But, you know, even if you donate 1%, that would be a huge help, and we'd be really grateful for that.
Before you go, you're a model? So tell us a bit what it's like being a deaf model.
Well, I remember it was back when I was 18, I got scouted. You know, I didn't expect that at all. And then I was in agency in Birmingham, and I just felt like I wanted a bigger challenge. So I actually moved to a London agency, and that was better work and more opportunities, and became more of a challenge. And then I got a New York agent, so I moved there. So I lived there for 2 years, on and off. So I was coming back and forward. So I was sort of flying over the weekends to New York and London. And I feel at that time, it was so rare to see deaf models. I really felt like I was the only one in many ways. And it was good for me to be able to show that deaf people can do this. And now I'm seeing a lot more of deaf and disabled models, and that's so brilliant because it's really important to me that we feel included. And I remember I saw my face in Times Square, on buses, taxis, in the metro, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that's me. And so that was just an incredible thing for me, and to show that, we can do it. It doesn't matter if we're deaf or disabled. And I'm still, lucky enough to get some work, so I'm very happy.
You were also on that TV program, SAS Who Dares Wins. What was that like?
I mean, yeah, SAS. I've got mixed feelings about it, to be honest. Of course, the opportunity to be in it was amazing, but they wouldn't provide an interpreter for me, and so that was really hard for me. And I didn't want to say no, I wanted to be involved, but the other participants were informed 3 months in advance, and they could prepare that they were going to be on the show, whereas I was told 3 days before. And so I was told on the Friday, and I flew out on the Monday. And so, they were worried about the fact that I was deaf. We were emailing back and forward. I was trying to reassure them that I can do it. And I was saying, yes, it will be a challenge, but that's fine. And then finally, eventually they did accept me. And that was in Vietnam, which was an amazing, beautiful experience. But really and truly, 95% of that experience I didn't understand because the communication was such an issue and there was no interpreter. But 1 month later, what was really amazing was me and my wife went back to Vietnam together, and that was amazing that we got to see it properly together.